support segments like this one with Xiomaro, who we had on recently, who has a brand new book. Hold on, let's see. Brand new book that one can pre-order as of press time. Although if you're re-listening or re-watching this interview, you can probably ask your local bookshop to order Street Photography of New York City, Street Haunting in the Big Apple, if they don't already have it on the shelf. Good morning, Xio.
Good morning. How are you?
I am so happy to have your book in my hot little hands. I want to start by talking about Virginia Woolf.
Sure.
And about street haunting itself, because we love the connection to Miss Woolf.
And it's the right time of year with Halloween coming up, the idea of haunting.
It's spooky.
Yeah. You know, what happened was I started photographing on the streets of New York City.
While you were an attorney, by the way.
Well, I was a lawyer, which is not easy to do because, you know, they'll want you to work these very long hours. But during my commute to and from the office, I would just photograph whatever I encountered along the street going through Times Square or 6th Avenue. And these were just, it was really just to keep in practice because the main photography I was doing at the time was national park photography.
Right. So you were doing that already?
Yes, I was.
Wow.
And that's why I have a pseudonym.
So you've always been a multi-potentialite.
Yeah, I'm also a musician.
Right.
I'm a lawyer. I was an entertainment lawyer for a while, so I represented different celebrities.
Right.
But at this time, I was working at a law firm. I was working for them. I was a corporate lawyer doing litigation. And quite frankly, it was just for the money, to be honest, because I wanted to transition out of that. It was a decision that I made having recovered from cancer. So I wanted to go back into the arts for myself as opposed to representing all the musicians and other artists I've helped out over the years. So I was doing national park photography. Like I photographed Sagamore Hill in Oyster Bay. I photographed the William Floyd Estate and Fire Island National Seashore. So those are Long Island's 3 national park sites. But to keep in practice, I just photographed on the streets to and from work without any intention of using it for any other purpose. It was just to stay sharp.
But that's what my first and one of my favorite photography teachers of all time talked about, the soul of a photographer. The photographer is the person that if they're on their way to litigate a case, and it might even make them late, they need to get that shot.
Absolutely. And that's what's interesting about that is like some folks think to get great photography, you got to travel somewhere exotic.
Oh, it always for me seemed to happen on the way to work or on the way to.
And the exotic places are great too, but there's a lot of hidden beauty if you are, a keen observer of what's going on. These photographs that I took on the street, like I said, they had no purpose other than just for me to practice. But over time, I had a big collection. And then I got offered this book deal, which is the book that you're holding right now, which, by the way, that's the first hard copy out there, as far as I know. I just got them the other day, so I brought one for you.
Thank you.
But I wanted to have some kind of foundation, like what are these photos about? And so to your initial question about Virginia Woolf,
yes,
for those who don't know, she's a great writer. And back in 1927, she published an essay called Street Haunting. And that's the title that I stole as my subtitle for my book. But what I liked about it was that she was describing as a writer as opposed to a photographer, although I must say she's also a very fine photographer in her own right.
I did not know.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, in fact, I think it's her aunt or her great aunt was a very famous photographer, one of the few women who were doing it. If I remember correctly, I think her name was Margaret Cameron, but I might be wrong on that. I'm sure somebody will figure that out.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up. But she's actually a very good photographer in her own right, Virginia Woolf. In fact, if I remember correctly, her photographs are held at Harvard University.
Julia Margaret Cameron.
That's it, Julia.
Virginia Woolf's great aunt.
There you go. I was close.
Yeah, you were.
But anyway, Virginia Woolf, when she wrote about street haunting, that essay, she was just describing her experiences just wandering around London.
That's the best way to get photos.
just writing about her encounters, different people that she met that she thought were very interesting, different street scenes that inspired her. And from her point of view, it just gave her some insight into the human condition, the complexity of humanity. And in some cases, it even helped her to almost imagine being in the shoes of those people that she encountered.
Okay, that's definitely what's going on with your book, by the way. And what I think one of my favorite things is that everyone keeps their dignity in this book. This is not, I don't get a feeling of exploitation, for example, because I mean, this is in some ways exploitative, right? Because it's like you're shooting anyone and there's no permission needed, I imagine.
No.
I don't think you needed to be gathering because you're in the public sphere.
That's correct.
But I was amazed at the sense of like love and connection that I seem to feel no matter what, even though these are strangers.
I'm so glad you said that because
Yeah.
I was hoping that that's how folks would come away from the book.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen photographs of other folks, I won't say who, street photographers, where I did get the sense they were either poking fun at their subject or exploiting them in some way.
Or like you feel like it's like, I don't know. It's hard to put into words, and maybe the captions are part of and like who you are as a person. But I felt a warmth, and I felt a lack of judgment that I felt in other places and
Well, I'm
spaces.
glad you noticed that because that's very important to me. I didn't want to feel that I was, because some of the folks are pretty strange and they're outlandish, and some are just everyday folks. I've been around interesting people my whole life as an entertainment lawyer and as a musician. So I
dare
kind of
say you are one.
Yeah, it's like I kind of understand how people choose to live in very different ways that maybe we're uncomfortable with. Some of us might be uncomfortable with or don't understand. But, we have to respect it and honor it. And, for the easiest photograph I could take, and the most popular ones I could take, would be if I photographed a celebrity. They're instantly likable and shareable. But I like to think of the average person on the street as kind of rising to that same level. I want to photograph them the way I would treat a celebrity and kind of celebrate these average everyday folks.
And I kind of love that is a through line also with your work with the National Park Service, because I remember we were talking last time and you were these are generally rich white men.
That's right.
Or very well connected, of European descent, all these things. And yet you seem to be taking a focus on those women and servants and people who are largely ignored by history.
Absolutely. I think to just focus on the star of the show, if you will, whether it's George Washington, I photographed his couple of his headquarters, Teddy Roosevelt, like I mentioned, in Oyster Bay, or William Floyd. It's easy to focus on the celebrity again.
But it also doesn't tell the whole story.
No, it doesn't. In fact, I know sometimes there's obviously a national or international debate about these other histories, but like I don't have a problem with it because to me it actually makes the main story even stronger.
Yeah,
because there are many people who were involved in making this country what it is,
and you have to understand all of it. I always had a problem with math, and it's because they didn't teach theory first.
Right, yeah.
Later on, I remember I was like a senior, and they did like a theory class at the end. And I'm like, guys, why didn't you start with this?
Sure.
Because I need the why.
Well, same here.
You
By the way, I did very poorly in math, although I did get an A in calculus. It was the hardest A I ever got. But if they had explained how math
Some
is
people's
applicable
brains,
to, even if you
right.
don't do math, right? Because it's a way of thinking.
If you have the why, then the execution,
Sure.
it's easier to follow. Mm-hmm. All right, so I loved the line, "I used to be worse, and so was New York City."
Oh, yes.
I loved that.
I do have a hot Latin temper, and there's a section in the book where I talk about how the old New York City that I grew up in, which was very, very French Connection-like,
Yeah.
a lot harder. And again, that's why I think it's good that I've achieved a gentler side,
Yeah.
and it comes across in my pictures too.
That's wonderful. Growth, people. It happens. I loved No More White Presidents. That was hilarious. And I love, going back to history, I love how you put everything through a historical lens. It deepens appreciation of the moment, of which there's a lot. You have a lot of sign pictures, which we were taught to shy away from as Photo J students, but I think certainly tells a story, especially in a moment like now, where there are so many protest signs, for example, people out there expressing, using their First Amendment rights, which is narrowing in many places and spaces.
Yeah, I mean, the book is more than just a collection of photographs.
Yes.
I mean, it could be that. You could just see it for that and be entertained by it. But I guess perhaps I shouldn't underplay the writing of it, too. I mean, I did write the introductory essays.
And did you have to have, because you said publishers do not like short captions. Is that why we get these special captions?
Yeah, the captions are lengthy. They're not just like identifying a location.
Yeah.
I like leaving photographs more to the imagination of the viewer. However, it worked out fine because a lot of the stuff from the captions...
But did they want that? Did they ask
did.
you? Okay.
Yeah, they wanted the lengthier captions. But it was fine because I have a lot to say anyway.
Yeah, and it was useful information.
Yeah, and the content in the captions would have just ended up in the introductory essays anyhow.
Right.
But I think what it does is if you, even if you don't look at the pictures and you just read through all the captions as a narrative, it does tell a story.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea was to have this parallel narrative that didn't necessarily just repeat what the picture is telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need a caption saying, here's a person walking across the street. I mean, people can just see that. So.
But I liked, especially from a fashion point of view, you talked about like the history of fashion.
Yes.
And of like, people wear their hair long now, or that tends to be the trend. And let's talk about the pictures. So, and we got to talk about color. Because obviously that has driven many pairings and some of your favorite elements like juxtaposition, because that was also very big with the pairings of the pictures here. So just take it away. Tell me about putting this together, because that's the big puzzle of a photo book, right?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, although it's broken up into 3 chapters, because you kind of have to break it down for convenience, ultimately it's all about human expression. And people do that in so many ways. They do it through the clothes that they wear, the color combinations that they select, the signage that they, write themselves and hold up during a protest. Even like in the 3rd chapter, I cover a lot of small architectural details that people will miss if they're in Manhattan.
Oh, I love that. That's the 3rd chapter,
and that's another
right?
form of expression. Some of them are decorative, but some of them really go beyond that. There's a history behind them. So, the idea behind the book is that there's a lot competing for one's attention if you're in New York City, regardless of whether you are a resident or an out-of-state employee, worker someplace, or a tourist. But there's a lot of nuance and smaller things that are just as important, if not more important. And I think also over time, the pictures will have some more significance because things are going to change. We're living in a very fast-paced world. And I think 10, 20 years from now, people will pick up the book, look at the pictures, and go, wow, I can't believe people lived like that back then, or this was going on at that time.
It's so amazing to think of the present moment in its historical significance. Of course, the book has yet to be written. We're writing it together as we speak. But my gosh, it is just so much change at once. And of course, I can't think of a year.
Yeah, I mean,
there's been...
it's hard to get a handle on it. When I started taking these photographs, part of my approach was to think artistically, to challenge myself by taking pictures that are unusual, that require some time to linger over it and kind of get the sense of the picture
like end horse laughter,
which
we don't want to do.
Yeah, there's a photograph.
That's very funny.
End horse. It's basically a big...
It's end horse slaughter, but
it's end horse slaughter, right? But something is blocking my view of it. And when I was walking down the street, I caught it and I go, what? End horse laughter? So there's a lot of weird juxtapositions. If you don't know what we're talking about, we'll just get a copy of the book.
You got to get a copy. By the way, so Xiomaro.
Xiomaro, yes.
.com. That's your website,
.com,
I imagine.
Correct, yes.
You can find it there, but you can also pre-order it.
Yeah, it's
through your website.
It's on Amazon.com, but it'll come out on this Thursday, October 30th.
Yeah.
So you can get it on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, a whole bunch of places in the U.S., online retailers. And it's also in 22 nations on their online versions of Amazon and other websites that sell books online. So it's amazing. They did a very good job in distributing it. And that's just the online retailers. And of course, there's the, the regular bricks and mortar stores as well.
What is the shot that because I mean, photography, it's a gamble. You don't always get it. And then every now and then you get like a gift from the gods. What is one or some of those photos for you?
That's a hard one, but there's one particular picture
Yes.
that it's just very bizarre. Some people are disturbed by it, or they just can't get their head around it. It's a black and white photograph. It's a man dressed up like a baby.
Oh yeah, the man babies.
Yeah, he's wearing a diaper.
I have a question about the man babies.
And then there's a I don't know if it's a man or a woman but there's somebody
I said, are man
feeding
babies,
it with a giant baby
is that
bottle.
a thing?
Yes, that's a thing. It's in Times Square. They have these folks dressed up.
Why don't I know that? That's what. So
well, I didn't know it either until I started, commuting, and I go, "This is insane! I got to take pictures
man
of this."
babies are a thing. We know this.
I guess so. Yeah,
they are a thing.
But I just never saw them on the street.
But no, I've never
someone
seen
feeding them with a giant bottle.
I've never seen that outside of like Tim and Eric's bedtime stories.
Yeah, and if you look at the photograph, there's this sense of wonderment from the feeder, the person feeding the baby, and then right in between them, there's a fellow who's looking straight at me, seemingly bewildered.
He's bewildered.
Yeah, I think he's bewildered. So it was just a great shot. I just caught it in a split second.
I get
and
that.
It came
I
up
get
better
that
than I
photo
thought.
every time I go to the local, like petting zoo, and feed one of the goats or the pigs. Yeah, I was totally like, why don't I know? Because that's the one caption that I was like, man babies.
Yeah, so there's a lot of humor in the book.
Totally.
There's some serious aspects to it. There's some beauty, but there's humor. It's a mix of different things that interest me.
What are you shooting now? What are you working on? Well, you've been working with the National Park Service.
Yeah, well, it's a little tricky now with everything going on in Washington, D.C. We're in the midst of a shutdown and cutbacks.
Right.
But I started a project.
We have to talk about this.
Sure, I'm happy to.
Because the Park Service and the parks themselves, they could close.
Yes. Well, here's the thing.
Tell me, what's the scoop?
Part of the reason why I'm doing these street photography books, I have another one coming out next spring, and then I have another one in 2027. So I have a bunch of these. But part of it is because I started my career doing national park photography, and I'm not sure that it's going to continue because I'm dependent on the parks being open for starters. Otherwise, I can't go there.
And then federal funds.
Yeah, they commission me, so they pay me. It's not a lot of money. I mean, anything you do for the government's never a lot of money.
I'm seeing a big, I'm seeing a war on history, for example, overall.
One of the discussions I've had with different folks is that...
From some who are fighting to, let's document, let's get it... let's
Sure. I mean, my
save as
photographs, first of all, even though the parks are open full time and fully funded and all that, my photographs of the parks, just like my street photography, tries to reveal things that you can't see on a tour. Mm-hmm. So it's a different approach that I take. But so I guess they're significant in that way. But to the extent the parks have to restrict their visitation hours,
right,
and people can't go as often as they like, or some may even be closed or decommissioned. Those photographs are going to be more meaningful because that might be the only way you can really,
You bummed
see
you
them.
weren't able to get into the East Wing?
Yes, I would have loved to photograph the White House. I was actually trying to look into that years ago.
I think about the office of the First Lady. I think about like the movie theater. I think about
Yeah.
all of that history just
And
gone.
I would have dug deep into that and just avoided all the typical shots. I would have tried to get something a little more nuanced.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. The book is Street Photography of New York City, Street Haunting in the Big Apple. I love how you work several years ahead, CO.
Oh, yeah.
So what books should we expect in the coming years?
Well, there's one coming out in March 31st.
Okay.
It's called The Street Photography of the Wildwoods. The Wildwoods are a resort in New Jersey.
Oh my God! I was like, he's not talking about New Jersey. Come on, G.
Talking about that one.
Wow, down in the bottom.
Yeah, and what I found interesting about it
there's
is...
a lot of That's a place. Yeah, for
well,
street
that one's going to have a little more of the political aspect to it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because it's
surprising to hear.
Yeah, it's steeped in nostalgia.
I think of like the boardwalks.
Right. So that's the obvious thing.
Right.
And I do photograph that. But of course, I want to go deeper
Wow.
So I wanted to explore what
Butterflies.
draws people here and what's this about and what is the emphasis on nostalgia? What does that mean in the larger context? So you're going to have me back for that one.
I will.
But I have the third one coming out in 2027, which is the sequel to the street photography
To street
book.
photography. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's called
I'm excited.
More Street Haunting.
Yeah.
Drama, Dreams, and Delirium.
Awesome.
So those are more abstract pictures with reflections off of windows and puddles and windshields of cars. And
Cool.
so I'm going to go into that. The other things folks should know
Yes.
is that thankfully I'm still doing some national park work.
I'm
photographing
grateful to hear that.
George Washington's birthplace.
Nice. You told me this
National
last
Monument.
time.
That's in Virginia. I just finished a project for them. They'd like to have me back. I was supposed to go next week, but with the shutdown, that's not going to happen, at least for the near future. But those will come out at some point. And then in February 19th of 2026, and that'll continue until September of next year, I'm part of an exhibit, well, not me, my photographs, at the Long Island Museum in Stony Brook.
Right.
And they're doing an exhibit called The Seat of Action, which is to
remember you
celebrate
telling me about this.
the country's semi-quincentennial, 250th anniversary.
Which is upon us.
Yeah, so I have 4 photographs there. Those will be drawn from the William Floyd Estate National
And you can
Park
find
Service.
out more information at longislandmuseum.org.
And also my
about that.
website.
And also Xiomáro, that's Xiomaro, that's XIOMARO.com. The book is Street Photography of New York City, Street Haunting in the Big Apple. I'm Gianna Volpe. That was CEO himself. This is Lily Potter. And you, whoever you are out there, you are awesome, and you're listening to Long Island's only local NPR radio station, only because of people like you out there donating to WLIW.org/radio to support conversations and programs like this one.
What will the world be in 50 years from now? Will it explode? Will we still be here? And how will we live with ourselves? Will we kill ourselves? So many things to think about at night. When lights go out and you're lonely, what will the world be in 16 years from now? World War III, hot as hell, and we're robots. And how will we live with ourselves? Will we kill ourselves? They say that all you need is love. When lights go out forever, what will the world be in just a year from now?
sad clown. You watch the wheels roll round. Take your money into town, go buy a drink. Sad clown, always with the same frown. Circus train got you down, and you're thinking about leaving. And you're thinking about how it's one more time, then you stop and settle down. You'll have no more of this three-ring run around. Now tell the tightrope walker that the trapeze man, he taught his wife how to swing by her teeth. You can tell the barker it's okay to spread the word now. The tiny car has an open seat. Tell the ringmaster he's the master of nothing. No one hears a word that he speaks. Now working for the circus on the surface is perfect, 'cause it helped to keep the big shoes on your feet. Think about leaving. You're thinking about leaving. You're thinking about how it's one more train and you stop and settle down. You'll have no more of this three-ring run around. Run around, round, round. Run around, round, round. Run around. Clown, just watch the wheel roll round. Sad clown, who watch the wheel roll round. Take that money into town, go buy a drink. Sad clown, always with the same frown. Circus train got you down. You're thinking about leaving town.
Oh, yes. All right, this is the sad clown section of the set list. That was Brian Wright's Sad Clown. I really want to play this one for you. This is Jars of Clay. It's from the 1999 record, If I Left the Zoo. I just really wanted to hear this one. Oh, Jack LaCitra. This one is for you. This is like a version of Jack LaCitra from like another timeline. Right here on WLIWFM.